Hello everybody, thank you so much for tuning in this evening. My name is Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. I'm coming to you live from Newton North High School in Newton, Massachusetts. I'm here to bring you some high school girls soccer action under the lights tonight between the visiting Brookline High Warriors and the hosting Newton North Tigers. The Warriors come into this game with a 2-1-1 record, having just improved above 500 last Sunday with a 2-1 win over Wellesley, courtesy of 2 goals, one from Daniela Levy and one from Sari Frankel. So we'll see how they match up against the classic Brookline rival Newton North. It's always a good game, no matter what sport it is. When these two teams face off, you know it's going to be some good action. Starting in goal today, Brookline brings out the upperclassman Juliana Anastopoulos, while Newton North sends Josie Glass into the net today. Tigers have taken the field. The Warriors just finished their huddle and pregame chant, and they're coming out onto the field. Newton North had to bring out some of the overhead lights on wheels out here. You can hear them humming along nearby to me. So starting this game, Newton North will be playing the first quarter from my left, while Brookline comes from my right. Like I said, both teams will be scrapping for a game like this. Whenever it's Brookline versus Newton North, you know you're in for some good action, regardless of the sport. And it looks like Brookline will be getting the ball to... No, Newton North will be getting the ball to start the game. Over at the center is number 12, Claire Rayner. On the near side, we have number 17, Olivia Doherty. And there's the opening whistle, and it's kicked back, and we're getting this game underway. That is Newton North's number 10 passing it over to number 6. They pass back to 18. They pass it over to the far side, then back to the goalie Glass, who boots it down the far side, and it looks like this one's going to skip out of bounds. So an early miscue for the Tigers gives Brookline an inbounds kick deep in the Newton North end. So Brookline with a good early attack chance here. The inbound is kicked over to Samantha Friedman. Friedman dribbles a bit, sends a centering pass over to, I believe that is Hope Leshley, who then dribbles, turns around, passes over to the far side to Friedman, who tried to tap it back to Mia Pujols-Braceno, but it goes out of bounds. So Newton North will take over. They'll have the inbounds kick. It's kicked, but stolen away immediately by Melanie Chernin, now trying to dribble through traffic. She almost maintained control of it, but it was taken away by Newton. They kick it across midfield. It's being chased down by a couple of players and kicked out of bounds by defender Caroline Wolf. So now Newton has the inbounds kick deep in the Brookline end. We'll see what kind of attack they can string together. The inbounds kick goes down the near side, kicked by a Brookline player, kicked again after a deflection. It goes almost completely cleared out, but then kicked back in by a Newton player, but then the pass is juggled and collected by Brookline's Zoe Fagnan. Passed back, and it gets a bit away from them, recovered by Mia Pujols-Braceno, who decides to kick it out of bounds and not risk the turnover. So Newton North will stay deep in the Brookline end. Newton going for the inbounds kick. It's kicked to number 12, that's Claire Rayner. She tried to tap it back to the inbounds kicker, but it went out of bounds. Bit of miscommunication there. And Brookline takes over in their own end. Inbounds kick to, I believe that's Friedman. Passed over to Chernin. Chernin ran into traffic and the ball is taken away. Attempted centering kick is collected by Zoe Fagnan. She taps it over to the near side, and then it's kicked ahead to Alex Levy, but she loses control of it. It's taken away by number 10, Lily Ranelli. Pass down the near side, looking for a chasing Olivia Doherty, but too far and goes out of bounds. That'll be a goal kick for Anastopoulos. Juliana Anastopoulos getting ready for the goal kick for Brookline. Surveys the field, looking for the best pass outlet. She boots it slowly over to the near side to Lindsay Mahoney. Mahoney then boots it ahead, looking for Chernin, but deflects off her foot and collected by Ranelli. Ranelli has it stolen away by Chernin. Now Chernin dribbling along the near side, runs into some traffic. Touch pass, back, an attempted kick ahead. I believe that's Mila Seifert who was trying to kick it, but it goes into traffic and is taken away by Newton North. But now after a fight, it's taken away. I believe that's Sari Frankel, who then taps it back to Seifert. Seifert tries to clear it, but it gets deflected away, and now it's taken away by Newton. Passed out to the near end to Doherty. Olivia Doherty trying to dribble through a couple of defenders, but it gets taken away. I believe that's Fagnan. Fagnan kicks it ahead, and it's deflected out of bounds. Almost deflected out of bounds by North's number 7. Instead, it goes to number 6, Kira Doherty. And we've got a penalty call on Brookline. They got two physical battling for the ball, and this is going to be a free kick for Newton North around the 25-yard line of this football field being used for soccer right now. It's an indirect kick. It's tapped back to Kira Doherty. She launches a kick towards the box. It skips away from several players and ultimately skips out of bounds. Dangerous chance there for the Tigers, but no one was there to capitalize. So Anastopoulos gets another goal kick. She boots it over to the near side. It goes to Fagnan, but deflects off her chest and skips away. A Newton player tried to kick it, but then collected by Seifert, passed ahead to Alex Levy. Levy now dribbling with it, sends a through pass looking for Frankel. Frankel now trying to dribble with it. She's trying to get the edge on a defender. Fakes, goes towards the center. She's got some space, boots a kick, and it skips right into the hands of Glass. Glass juggled it for a sec, but ultimately collected it. She rolls it over to one of her defenders, that's Kira Doherty. Doherty passes it over to Olivia Doherty, and almost loses it. Tries a centering pass, deflected. Goes into the air, a battle for the ball. Ultimately won by Kira Doherty. Now they're trying to pass it around. Goes back to Doherty. Doherty has it taken away, but it's out of bounds. Good hustle there by Zoe Fagnan, trying to get the attack zone turnover. They actually might have called... Did they call a foul? I think they called a foul on Kira Doherty. So it'll be a free kick. We've got Mila Seifert and Zoe Fagnan over on the near side for Brookline. Seifert taps to Fagnan. Fagnan boots it towards the center, and it's batted down and cleared by number 13, Anna Engel. Collected by Lindsay Mahoney around midfield. She dribbles a bit, passes it, looking for Chernin. Chernin just gets rid of it to Hope Leshley. Leshley now dribbling through some traffic, retreats, kicks back to Mahoney. Mahoney now dribbling, passes it ahead. That's Fagnan. Zoe Fagnan passes it over to Chernin. Chernin collects it, passes it over to Frankel. Frankel now dribbling with some space to work. Defense is closing. She passes it over to Friedman on the far side. Samantha Friedman now dribbling through some space, trying to find the hole. She launches it, and it's right into the hands of Glass. Nice chance there for Friedman, but couldn't get a good angle on it. And so instead it gets rolled to Kira Doherty. She dribbles, tries to pass it, hits traffic. It gets deflected away, almost collected by Leshley. Instead it gets kicked away and collected by Alex Levy. Levy now dribbling with it, kicked away from behind. And now it's passed back to number 10, Lily Ranelli, who passes it ahead looking for a streaking Olivia Doherty, but it's kicked out of space by Anastopoulos. Goes back to midfield, deflects off of a Newton player, and then goes back to another one who passes ahead looking for Ranelli. Ranelli being cut off by Hope Leshley, who takes the ball away. Now she's dribbling with it. Ranelli chasing her, trying to get it away. Passes it over to the near side to Seifert. Seifert passes ahead to Frankel. Frankel almost having it taken away. Too much pressure from the defenders. She's trying to get away with it. Can't do it, and Newton manages a retreating pass back to number 18, Tali Membrino, who passes it over to Kira Doherty. Doherty gets pressured by Fagnan, and they're going to call a foul. I think it's going to be on Doherty once again. Kira Doherty and Zoe Fagnan engaging in some intense one-on-one battles early in this contest. As Brookline has another free kick. Once again, Seifert taps it to Fagnan. Fagnan dribbles a bit, Now boots it towards the center. Nope, crossing all the way across the opposite side of the field. Going to Mia Pujols-Briseno. She passes it back to Caroline Wolf. Wolf looking for an outlet. She boots it across midfield. It gets batted down by a Newton North defender and then kicked back across midfield. Deflected by Wolf, and that bounces out of bounds. Newton North now with the inbounds kick. Over on the far side. It's deflected and taken away by Brookline. I believe that's Frankel. Frankel passes it over to Friedman. Friedman almost lost it out of bounds. Passed it back to Pujols-Briseno, who then boots it across midfield. Collected by Newton. I believe that was Membrino, who then passed it over. It's being passed along the far side. A nice give-and-go attempt, but a little too far and out of bounds. So Brookline will have the inbounds kick in its own end. 11:38 and ticking left in the first quarter of play as Brookline with the inbounds kick. An attempted pass. It gets deflected away. Winds up right at the foot of Rayner. But lost control of it, and then Brookline took it back and booted it across midfield. And an attempted clearing pass is intercepted by Chernin. Chernin tries to pass for Fagnan, but it's well deflected by Kira Doherty. Chernin trying to chase it down. It gets deflected over to Leshley. Leshley now passing, looking for Fagnan. Fagnan stays on sides, trying to dribble around now, looking for some space. She boots it deep down towards the box, being chased by Friedman, but it's going to go out of bounds, and that's going to be a goal kick for Josie Glass. Josie Glass, the Newton North keeper, passes it over to the near side to Kira Doherty. Doherty trying to dribble around some traffic, but it gets taken away. That is Fagnan. Fagnan with a centering pass, looking for Chernin. Chernin has it almost taken away. She managed to chase it down once again. She's looking for some space. A pass. Another pass. That's Alex Levy. Levy fakes, passes it out to Fagnan on the near side. A centering kick with nobody there. Brookline perhaps a bit too hesitant on that play, as no one wanted to take the off-angle kick, but then no one was there once they got the clean centering kick by Fagnan. It'll be another goal kick for Glass. Josie Glass kicks it over to Kira Doherty. Doherty kicks it back to Glass. Glass being chased by Levy. She tries to boot it out of the way. Batted down by Leshley, but then taken away by a defender. They tried to clear it, and it was deflected out of bounds by Leshley. That was number 10, Lily Ranelli, who was trying to clear it after the ball was batted down by Hope Leshley. She was being chased by Leshley, and ultimately it was Hope Leshley who deflected it out of bounds, so it'll be an inbounds kick for Newton North. Kira Doherty kicks it in, looking for Ranelli. It gets deflected away, goes to number 11, who then passes it over for Claire Rayner along the near side. It gets deflected out of bounds, and who are they going to say it's off of? They're going to say it was off of Lindsay Mahoney, who was chasing after the ball as well. The inbounds kick goes into space, taken away by Brookline. That was Caroline Wolf, who passes it over to Leshley, passes it across the field to Mia Pujols-Briseno. Pujols-Briseno passes it ahead to Samantha Friedman. Friedman now dribbling with some space, tries to send a through pass over to Levy, but deflected away by, I think, Membrino. Goes back to space and is collected by Chernin. Chernin passes over to Leshley. Now the pass ahead to Fagnan. Fagnan dribbling, just cross midfield, and it's kicked out of bounds. Well defended by number 11, Catalina Powderly. So Mila Seifert will have the inbounds kick for Brookline. Seifert gets the ball on the line. 8:38 and counting left in the first quarter as Seifert kicks it into Fagnan. Fagnan dribbling against Olivia Doherty. It gets knocked out of bounds, and they're going to say that went off Fagnan. Well defended by Olivia Doherty. Kira Doherty getting ready for the inbounds kick for Newton North. Looking for her outlet. She can't seem to find a spot. She ends up kicking it back to Tali Membrino. Membrino kicks it into the air, looking for Olivia Doherty. Collected and booted across midfield. Now a couple players chasing after it. It's collected by Claire Rayner. Rayner now dribbling, trying to get through the defense. Deflected by Mahoney, but still being chased. It's kicked up in the air. This might bounce in, and it just misses wide. Dangerous chase by Claire Rayner. She dribbled in between three different defenders and then manages to tap it over a chasing Juliana Anastopoulos. And I'm not sure if someone deflected it out or if the shot just went wide. But either way, no goal despite a very dangerous chance. And I think they're going to call that a corner kick. So they're going to say it was deflected out of a Brookline player. Number 12, Claire Rayner, with the best chance of the night thus far. About 7 minutes, 20 seconds left in the first quarter as Newton North lines up for a corner kick. Kira Doherty over in the corner, looking for a teammate to come close so she can pass the indirect kick over to Olivia Doherty, or maybe Olivia will tap it for Kira. Olivia Doherty taps it, and we've got a whistle as they need to send the Brookline defenders further back, give them the proper space. Now the whistle, it's tapped to Kira Doherty. She kicks it into space. It's deflected away by a Brookline player and kicked out. I believe that was Caroline Wolf on the defense there. She kicks it out of bounds, and it'll be another inbounds kick for Newton North. Kira Doherty kicks it in, looking for Ranelli. Ranelli gets around one defender, tries a pass, intercepted by Chernin. Chernin tries to dribble ahead, but it's kicked away from her. And now it's cleared by Mila Seifert. After a deflection, it goes to Samantha Friedman. Friedman dribbling across midfield, got some space to work along the far side. Still dribbling around, goes for a pass, goes to Chernin. Chernin collects it, tries to pass over to Frankel, but it goes wide. Instead collected by Kira Doherty. She's dribbling, being chased, tries to pass for Olivia Doherty, and she loses it out of bounds. That'll be Brookline ball. We've got a massive substitution for Brookline. We've got Gianna Pentland, Annabelle Meyer, Ansley Washburn, Kendall Fries. And I think I saw one more coming in. Coming out is Samantha Friedman, Mia Pujols-Braceno, Melanie Chernin, Mila Seifert, Alex Levy, and Zoe Fagnan. The kick into Maddie Moore, who was the other substitute. Tried to pass over to Frankel, who tried to deflect it. It was lost for a second, but then reclaimed by Brookline. Maddie Moore now trying to gain the edge. She's being chased by Membrino. She turns around, passes it back for one of the other subs. I think that was Washburn. It gets deflected away from her, collected by Leshley. Oh no, that was Sarah Gonzalez, another sub who came in. Gets deflected back towards the center. Shot saved. It's in the box, and it's almost cleared out by Newton North. Still a battle and collected by Josie Glass. Maddie Moore with a dangerous kick into the box. Glass almost couldn't collect it, but well played by the Newton North defense to keep that dangerous chance from going in the net. Now we got a long through pass, but it's taken away by Mahoney. Passed over to Leshley. Leshley trying to dribble. She loses control of it. Almost has it taken away, but she takes it right back. Passes over to Washburn. Then passed over to Gonzalez along the near side. Gonzalez passes ahead, looking for more. Moore chasing after the ball. Trying to keep it in bounds. It looks like she'll collect it along the near side. A pass over to Frankel. Frankel trying to dribble around a defender. Gets taken away, but it goes back to Leshley. Leshley launches it. Deflected by a defender. It goes to a Brookline player. A couple more deflections. Oh, it goes right to a Brookline player. Shot wide. Dangerous shot there by Sari Frankel as it goes wide and out of bounds with less than 4.5 left to play in the first period. We've got a substitution coming in for Newton North. This is number 9, Jess Minkin, replacing number 6, Kira Doherty. Now we're going to have a goal kick by Josie Glass. She sends it over to the far side, being chased by a Brookline player. The attempted kick upfield is deflected out of bounds, I believe. And so that'll be an inbounds kick for Newton North. Deep in their own end, just over 4 minutes left in the first period now. Still scoreless despite some very good chances on both sides. The inbounds kick is immediately deflected away by a Brookline player, and I believe that went out of bounds. That'll stay Newton North ball. Another inbounds kick goes through several people, and it's collected by Newton North. I believe that's Claire Rayner once again. She dribbles, runs into some traffic, tries to send it over to Lily Ranelli. Ranelli manages to collect it along the near side, being defended by Maddie Moore. Gets around Moore, gets around Gonzalez. They were looking for a foul call there, didn't get it. Ranelli with a centering kick. It skips away from everybody, collected by Malia Sung. She dribbles through one defender, trying to dribble away from a massive traffic, sends a retreating pass. Goes all the way back, almost to midfield, kicked back in, then kicked back out by Mahoney, deflected. Goes to another player, and a pass out to Olivia Doherty along the near side. Doherty dribbling, sends a centering pass, It's ultimately collected and shot deflected. I believe that was Lindsay Mahoney deflecting the shot by Catalina Powderly. And now Hope Leshley dribbling in space. Getting near midfield, she passes along the far side, being chased down and too wide out of bounds. She was looking for Gianna Pentland. Got another substitution coming in for Newton North. This is number 14, Josie Tucker, coming in, replacing Catalina Powderly. Powderly had a good chance on that last possession, but deflected away by Lindsay Mahoney. The inbounds kick is collected by Claire Rayner. Rayner sends a pass looking for Doherty. Doherty might have some space. Anastopoulos is charging and knocks it out of bounds. Heads-up defense by Juliana Anastopoulos, charging out of the box to deflect what could have been a dangerous through pass there. Instead, it'll be an inbounds kick for Newton North deep in Brookline territory. The pass goes to Lily Ranelli. Ranelli dribbling, trying to get around her defender, runs into some more traffic, kicks it out to Doherty. Olivia Doherty tries to go around multiple defenders. It's taken away by Gonzalez, passed along, then kicked upfield. It skips away from a couple of players, being chased down by Tully Membrino. She kicks it back to number 13, Anna Engel, who kicks it back to Josie Glass. Glass kicks it back into play. It's kicked across midfield. Battle for the ball. It gets deflected towards the far side, out of bounds. That'll be Brookline ball. We're in stoppage time now in the first quarter. Still scoreless between Brookline and Newton North. And the inbounds kick for Brookline along the far side, trying to force her way through a defender. It gets taken away, passed back to Claire Rayner. Rayner sends a pass along for Ranelli. Lily Ranelli chasing down the ball, dribbling across the near side, being chased by Hope Leshley. Turns around, tries a centering pass, looking for Olivia Doherty, but it gets kicked into the clear. I believe that was Sarah Gonzalez who cleared it. Now a battle near midfield. Newton North with a retreating pass. It gets passed across to Membrino. Membrino sends a pass ahead to number 7, Malia Sung. Sung dribbling, ran into some traffic, passes it over to Olivia Doherty on the near side. Doherty passes it into traffic, deflected and almost collected by Ranelli, but kicked away by Gonzalez. And ultimately, after a couple of kicks, Anastopoulos kicks it back into play. Olivia Doherty takes it away from Maddie Moore. Now dribbling around, looking for a place to go. Tries a centering kick, but it goes right to Leshley, and then gets deflected to Maddie Moore. Passed out to Sarah Gonzalez. Passed ahead to Sari Frankel. Frankel now trying to get around her defender, gain the edge. She passes it ahead to midfield, but it's taken away by Newton North. They send another through pass. This is deflected, and that's going to be the whistle for the end of the first quarter. So after one quarter of play, the score here at Newton North High School, the visiting Brookline Warriors 0, and the hosting Newton North Tigers 0. I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan, coming to you live from Newton North High School in Newton, Massachusetts, and I'll be back after a quick mute break. Stay tuned. Hello and welcome back to Newton North High School in Newton, Massachusetts. My name is Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan, and I am bringing you the second quarter of play of this high school girls soccer game between the visiting Brookline High Warriors and the hosting Newton North Tigers. Two teams scoreless after one quarter of play, despite some really dangerous chances on both sides. Newton North had some nice attacks by Claire Rayner, including one that just skipped wide of the net. Brookline had a couple of nice shots, including a beautiful centering kick into the box by Maddie Moore that could not be deflected in. And one shot by Samantha Friedman that, unfortunately for Brookline, flew right into the hands of Newton North goalie Josie Glass. So Brookline will start with the ball in this quarter as they play from my left, Newton North from my right. We've got Alex Levy and Kendall Fries at the center, while Gianna Pentland is on the wing on the near side. And we're getting this underway. It's tapped to Alex Levy. Levy dribbling with it, sends a retreating pass back to Melanie Chernin. Chernin passes it over to Annabelle Meyer along the near side. Meyer sends it ahead, looking for Pentland. She collects it, centering kick back to Ansley Washburn. Correction, that was Washburn, not Chernin. And then we've got a bit of a tangle up between Washburn and number 14, Josie Tucker, and they're calling the foul on Washburn. So it'll be a free kick for Newton North near midfield, but in their own end. Number 13, Anna Engel, walks away from it. It's tapped by Malia Sung back to Engel. Engel boots it into the air across midfield. It's deflected by Sarah Gonzalez. Skips away from a few players. Collected by Tali Membrino. Passed back to Engel. Engel kicks it across midfield. Gets away from a few players. Ultimately kicked by Annabelle Meyer over to Lindsay Mahoney. Mahoney now trying to kick it across midfield, looking for Kendall Freeze. Freeze collects it, taps it over to Levy. Levy almost loses it, but manages to tap it back to one of her midfielders. I think that's Hope Leshley, who tried to pass it ahead. It goes wide and is kicked out by Engel. Engel kicks it across midfield, but it bounces too far and goes out of bounds, and Brookline will have the inbounds kick. So it looks like it'll be Annabelle Meyer probably tapping it over. Yes, tapping it over to Gianna Pentland. Pentland tries to kick. It's deflected by Newton North, but then booted out by Caroline Wolf. Goes up in the air and is deflected. Brief second collected by Newton North, but then collected by Gianna Pentland of Brookline. Being chased by the defense, she manages to kick it ahead. Deflects away from Kendall Freeze. Collected by Engel. Engel sends a centering pass that gets intercepted by Brookline. I believe that's Hope Leshley. It gets deflected ahead to Alex Levy. Levy sends a pass along the far side looking for Maddie Moore. Maddie Moore gains the edge on a defender. She launches a shot. Oh, it was more of a centering pass, and it got away from all players there. I think she was looking for Kendall Freeze maybe on the tip-in. But either way, it sailed away from everyone and went out of bounds. It'll be a goal kick for Newton North's Josie Glass. Glass passes it towards the near side, and then it's kicked in, but goes right to Pentland. Pentland has it deflected, but it's taken by Washburn. Washburn now tries to send it in, deflects off a player, and is cleared out by Newton North. Now a battle near midfield. They get away from the defender. That is Rayner. Once again, sends a long pass out towards the far side, looking for a teammate who collects it. They send a centering pass back over to Claire Rayner. Rayner dribbling through a couple of defenders. Runs into one, manages to power her way through Sarah Gonzalez, sends the pass over to the far side. Juggled and then recollected by the Tigers. A kick towards the center, slides in and grabbed by Anastopoulos, who then juggles it but dives on it. And then she immediately rolls it out along the near side. Now it's being dribbled with speed. I believe that's Pentland, who kicks it ahead to Alex Levy. Levy boots one up, looking for Kendall Freeze. It skips away from her, but she's now chasing it. She's got the ball along the near sideline. One player to beat, but she's being matched up well by Membrino. Fakes a couple times, dribbles. The rest of the defense is there. It gets deflected away. Recollected by Freeze. Freeze trying to dribble around, trying to get through a couple defenders. And ultimately she kicks it out of bounds. And I think they're saying that didn't go off a defender, so that'll be a goal kick for Josie Glass. So nice passing there from Gianna Pentland and Alex Levy. Kendall Freeze had a nice position, but unfortunately couldn't get around her defender before the cavalry came to back her up. So instead it'll be a goal kick for Josie Glass. Kicks it to the near side. They're trying to clear it up. And it's taken away for a second by Ansley Washburn, then deflected out of bounds by Newton North, and it'll be Annabelle Meyer tapping it over to Gianna Pentland. Pentland now boots it towards the center. It skips away and is kicked out by Newton North. Almost goes out of bounds, but collected by Brookline. Passed back to Lindsay Mahoney, who tries to kick it across midfield. Now it's taken away by Newton North once again along the far side. Dribbling with it, a centering pass over to number 21, Emma Plainett. Plainett passes it back to number 4, Fiona Flint, who tried to kick it, but it was deflected. Brookline took it away. Brookline tried to get it across midfield, but it gets kicked away by Newton North. Now being chased down by Claire Rayner once again. She's got the ball. Attempted centering pass is intercepted and booted away by Brookline, but goes back to, I believe that's Malia Sung, who sends a pass along the near side looking for Claire Rayner. Rayner being chased defensively, and it's kicked out of bounds. I think that is Ansley Washburn. No, I think it's Annabelle Meyer who kicked that one out. So much tougher reading the jersey numbers on a dark night like this as they play under the lights that they brought in on wheels. You can hear the machines humming along as we have 14 minutes, 20 seconds left in the second quarter. Still scoreless between Newton North and Brookline. Newton North getting ready for an inbounds kick just a few yards away from where a corner kick would be. It's tapped back and forth. Then an attempted through pass. It gets through to, I think that's Malia Sung trying to battle through multiple defenders. Ball gets pushed away and is collected by Brookline and booted ahead by, I believe, Kendall Freeze. It goes to midfield, collected by Newton North, passed over to Angle. Angle passes it ahead across midfield, looking for number 8, Kayla Boggs. Boggs lost it, though, and it was kicked away. Recollected by Angle in the Newton North end. Pass back to Glass. Glass being chased by Alex Levy. Tries to kick it away. Deflected by Maddie Moore. Collected by Kendall Freeze. Pass looking for Alex Levy, and I think they're going to call offsides on Brookline. So with 13 and a half minutes left in the half, Newton North takes over on an offsides call deep in their own end. Free kick is away. Deflected for a second, but collected by Newton North. An attempted through pass is sent. Kicked away by Sarah Gonzalez. Back into the Newton North end. Downed and kicked away by number 4, Fiona Flint. Then kicked even further ahead by Newton North by number 14. A couple passes, and it ends up at the foot of Claire Rayner after a deflection by Caroline Wolf. Rayner dribbling with it, shoots, and it goes wide on the near side. We got a massive substitution coming in for Brookline. The first unit of Sari Frankel, Samantha Friedman, Zoe Fagnan, Mila Seifert, Melanie Chernin, and Mia Pujols-Briseno coming in to replace Kendall Freeze, Alex Levy, and I think Hope Leshley and Sarah Gonzalez. So the goal kick for Anastopoulos goes to Lindsay Mahoney. Mahoney boots it into the air towards midfield. Collected by Friedman. She's battling against Angle. She taps it, looking for Chernin. It goes wide and gets taken away by number 23, Alexandra Contreras. But Contreras loses the ball, running into traffic. Kicked away by Brookline, but collected by Malia Sung. Sung now dribbling, tries to send a pass along to Contreras. Along the near side, collected, being defended by Pujols-Briseno. An attempted pass to Josie Tucker. It gets taken away and kicked out of bounds by Gianna Pentland. Newton North will have the inbounds kick. Looking for the outlet. They kick it inbounds. Battle for the ball. It's collected by Josie Tucker. She tries to send a through pass. She's got an open teammate. I think that was Contreras. Tried to shoot, but deflected away by Caroline Wolf, and then booted out of there by another Brookline player. Deflected by Angle. Then collected by Membrino. Passed ahead, but it skips away from her target. Ultimately collected by another Newton North player who's got the edge. Attempted centering kick. Looking for a player. Josie Tucker tries to deflect it in, but it gets deflected out by a Brookline defender. I think that might have been Melanie Chernin who deflected that ball out of bounds. Nice defense there. 11 minutes to go in the half. Still scoreless between the Tigers and Warriors. And Newton North about to get a corner kick from the far side. Newton North lining up for the corner. It gets kicked all the way back, and the attempted launch is whiffed. And then in a retreating pass back to Tali Membrino, who then passes it back to Angle. Angle passes it over to the near side to Kira Doherty. Doherty gets around one player and is now dribbling in space. Doherty moves towards the center now, runs into traffic, tries to pass through it, and I think they might call, are they calling a foul? No, no whistle. And instead it's being cleared by Brookline. A bit of confusion as to where the ball was for a second, but collected by Samantha Friedman. Attempted kick, deflected by Kira Doherty. Goes right back to Friedman. Now Friedman dribbling across midfield. It gets taken away by Josie Tucker, and it gets collected by Claire Rayner. Rayner tries to send a pass looking for Contreras, but she wasn't looking, and it's taken away by Pujols-Briseno. Tries to pass ahead to Samantha Friedman, and we've got a foul call. I think that's going to go against Newton North against Claire Rayner. Nice idea by Claire Rayner looking to pass ahead to Alexandra Contreras. Contreras wasn't ready for it, though. Instead, it'll be a free kick for Brookline. And not sure what happened there. I think Brookline messed up the free kick because now Newton North is getting the free kick in the same spot. And that's a dangerous place for a free kick between the 25 and 30-yard line of the football field that this game is being played on. Newton North will have a free kick. They've got number 21, Emma Plainett, alongside number 6, Kira Doherty. They're probably going to tap it for the indirect kick. It's tapped back to Plainett. Plainett decides to dribble around Gianna Pentland. She's got some space. She dribbles past Pujols-Braceno to the edge. A centering pass is taken away and kicked and deflected out of bounds. That was Caroline Wolf on the defense. Or no, I think that it was either Wolf or Lindsay Mahoney. Those two provide such a good anchor at the back end of the defense. And as the attempted clearing kick got deflected out of bounds by Newton North, Brookline will now have the inbounds kick. With about 8:15 left in the second quarter, still scoreless. It'll be Mia Pujols-Braceno kicking the ball in. It's booted into the air by Gianna Pentland, collected by Sari Frankel. Frankel looking for a place to go. She's dribbling, got a little bit of space, passes ahead to Samantha Friedman. Friedman was being defended by Tali Membrino, and Membrino deflects it out of bounds. Brookline with another inbounds kick. It'll once again be Pujols-Braceno tapping it over to Gianna Pentland. Pentland passes it over to the near side, collected by Frankel. Frankel dribbles around Kira Doherty. She's got some space in the center now. Runs into some more traffic. Decides to tap a pass over to Zoe Fagnan. Fagnan sends it over to the far side, looking for Maddie Moore. Maddie Moore trying to gain the edge, runs into traffic. Ball gets deflected and then booted out of there. I think that was Tali Membrino. It's collected by Claire Rayner. Rayner boots it into the air, looking for a teammate along the far side. Can't reach her. It goes out of bounds. We've now got a substitution for Brookline. Alex Levy coming in to replace Gianna Pentland. It's Brookline with the inbounds kick. The retreating pass goes back to Lindsay Mahoney. Mahoney boots it towards midfield, looking for Alex Levy. Deflects off her foot, goes a little too far, taken away by Newton North. Ball gets kicked into space. And I think we got another foul call. Looks like this one's going to be against Newton North, and Brookline will get a free kick around what would be their own 45-yard line. Mahoney kicks it over to Chernin. Melanie Chernin sends a retreating pass back to Caroline Wolf. Wolf collects it, taps it back to Juliana Anastopoulos as Brookline resets. Anastopoulos dribbles, then boots it into the air down the far side. Collected and passed ahead. Now another through pass, looking for Alex Levy. It gets deflected away, but then recollected by Sari Frankel. What hustle on that play. As she sends a pass, looking for Maddie Moore along the far side. Moore collects it. She's near the corner. Going up against a defender, trying to get around her, can't do it, passes it back. And then a bit of miscommunication. A kick is deflected and bounces out of bounds. It's going to be off Brookline. We got another substitution for Newton North. This is number 10, Lily Ranelli, coming into the game. As she replaces number 7, Malia Sung. Inbounds pass by Newton North, now booted into the air. Battle for the ball now, won by Newton North, pass towards the center. Now they're trying to dribble. A retreating pass back to Josie Glass, the goalie. Was being chased by Alex Levy, and she had to pass it away in a hurry to Kira Doherty. Doherty passes it back to Engel. Engel tries to kick it away. It's deflected. It goes to Sari Frankel. Frankel fakes again. Still trying to dribble. Defense is closing fast. It goes out of bounds. And they're going to say that was off Brookline. Frankel lost control of it there as she was trying to look for her opening. And so it'll be another inbounds kick for Newton North. Kira Doherty to Josie Tucker. Back to Doherty. Kicked ahead to Ranelli. Lily Ranelli dribbling with it. A centering kick. Over to 21, Emma Planet. Planet kicks it across midfield, and it's kicked again over to Contreras. Contreras dribbling in space, kicks, it's deflected straight up into the air by Caroline Wolf, and that bounces out of bounds. Kira Doherty getting ready for the inbounds kick. Kick to Josie Tucker, kicked ahead, deflected away by Mia Pruholz-Braceno. Battle for the ball. Newton North recollects the ball, tries to retreat pass. A pass to Kira Doherty gets deflected a little too far, and then is chased down and taken away by Sari Frankel. Frankel now dribbling through some space, looking for an opening. Defense is closing. She retreats, turns around, sends a pass over to Samantha Friedman. It deflects a little too hard off her foot, and she has to chase it, but it gets taken away by Josie Tucker. Passed back to Tully Membrino, kicked into the air. Deflected by Friedman, going towards the near sideline and out of bounds. 3.5 minutes left in the half now. Now we got an inbounds kick. It's booted across midfield. It's being chased now by Caroline Wolf and Clara Rayner. Rayner's got it. She's got the edge. She's got a bit of a breakaway here. She turns and gets cut off by the defender. Has to send a retreating pass. Nobody there. She chases it herself. Gets it away. Passes it back to Contreras. Contreras with a centering kick. Looking for Josie Tucker. Tucker collects it. Boots it over Rayner's head and out of bounds. Claire Rayner tried to pull up and fake out Caroline Wolf as she got near the box, but it didn't work out, and instead she got surrounded by defenders despite having a slight inch of breakaway. Mia Pruholz-Braceno getting ready for the inbounds kick. They got to make sure all the defenders are in the right spot. Kicked back, kicked into the air, deflected by Engel. Engel deflects it over to Kira Doherty. And her kick goes away from her and is kicked away by a Brookline player. It's collected by Alex Levy around midfield. She sends a pass looking for Sari Frankel along the near sideline. Frankel, patient, trying not to go off sides. She collects the ball. Now dribbling against a defender, passes it back to Alex Levy. Levy dribbling with it, passes it back to Frankel. Frankel now dribbling, a centering kick. Runs into traffic and it gets deflected away. Melanie Chernin chasing after it. She's trying to take it away. I think she almost successfully took it away. Still a battle for it. It gets deflected back to Brookline. Launched over the bar and out of bounds. That'll be a goal kick. Big shot attempt there by Brookline after some hard-fought battles for the ball near the box. But the shot flies over the crossbar. And it'll be a goal kick for Josie Glass. Glass kicks it in. Doherty has it taken away by Samantha Friedman. Friedman with a centering kick looking for a teammate. Deflected out of bounds. We'll see who they call it out off of. I think they might say that's a corner kick. We're in stoppage time here in the second quarter of this scoreless game between Brookline and Newton North. Brookline gets a corner kick with who knows how much time left. They get ready for the indirect kick. It's tapped over to Frankel. Frankel almost has it taken away, and it gets kicked out of bounds by a Newton North defender. As the clock continues to wind on stoppage time, well defended by Newton North. We're going to try for a little more coordination here. Again, it's tapped to Frankel. Frankel almost has it taken away, but it goes back to Maddie Moore. Maddie Moore tries to kick it into space. Deflected off Chernin, goes to Friedman. Friedman attempted centering kick, but nobody there, and it rolls harmlessly into the hands of Josie Glass. Glass boots it towards midfield. It skips past a couple players. Another chase for the ball between Wolf and Rayner. Deflected by Wolf, goes back to Lindsay Mahoney. Mahoney taps it back to Anastopoulos, and we've got the whistle for halftime. So, after 2 quarters of play, the score, the visiting Brookline High Warriors 0, the hosting Newton North Tigers 0. I'm Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan coming to you live from Newton North High School in Newton, Massachusetts. And if you like my broadcasts, you like what I'm doing, you want to support me financially, feel free to go over to my Patreon at patreon.com/jgms88 and put in a donation, either a monthly pledge or a one-time donation, where you effectively cancel your monthly pledge after the first payment is processed. Either one is supported. And of course, I'm going to keep doing this regardless. So whatever support can be made is appreciated. But for now, halftime score, Brookline 0, Newton North 0. And I'll be back after a mute break. Stay tuned. Hello and welcome back to Newton North High School in Newton, Massachusetts. My name is Mayfield-Sheehan, bringing you live coverage of this high school girls soccer match between the visiting Brookline High Warriors and the hosting Newton North Tigers. Currently, we are scoreless as we get ready to start the second half of play here in the third quarter. Newton North starting with the ball. Claire Rayner at the center. We've got Olivia Doherty over on the near side. As we get ready to get this third quarter underway. There's the whistle. Rayner kicks it back. It's booted into the air by Emma Plainett. The game is underway. It bounces over a couple of players. It's being chased by Olivia Doherty and Mila Seifert. Seifert wins the battle. Only temporarily, though, as it's taken away by Newton North. Passed from Doherty over to Rayner. Rayner dribbles around a centering kick, and it goes out of bounds off the near side of the net. Early attack by the Tigers there, and once again it was Claire Rayner who has been all over a majority of Newton North's attacks so far this game. Instead, Juliana Anastopoulos gets a free kick. She boots it into the air. It goes to Zoe Fagnan. Fagnan sends a retreating pass back to Seifert. Seifert passes it into space to Hope Leshley, who passes it over to Fagnan, and then we've got a whistle, I think, for a sliding tackle that took out Zoe Fagnan. And so it'll be a free kick for Brookline. Fagnan is still down on the ground as she slowly gets up. And so Brookline will get the free kick after the penalty on Newton North. And so Brookline getting ready for the free kick. That is Hope Leshley booting it high into the air and across midfield, but deflected down, and attempting to get it across was Anna Engel. Instead, it gets deflected away and chased down by Kira Doherty, who kicks it out of bounds, and it'll be Brookline ball. Seifert kicks it in to, Frankel. Frankel kicks it through a couple of defenders, but it's deflected. Almost kicked in the air by Membrino, but deflected again. Kira Doherty collects it, boots it into the air. It's being chased by a couple of players and almost knocked out of bounds, but collected by Lily Ranelli, but then taken away by Hope Leshley. Leshley passes it ahead to Zoe Fagnan. Fagnan retreats in her dribble, sends it all the way across the other side to Mia Pujols-Briseno. Briseno now dribbling with it, gets around one player. Attempted centering pass, flicks off the foot of Frankel and collected. A retreating pass goes back to Pujols-Briseno. Briseno now kicks it down the far side. It's being chased down really fast. Brookline with the ball now in the far corner. Dribbling, a centering kick over to Chernin, but she couldn't get a good deflection on it. And Melanie Chernin's shot bounces harmlessly into the hands of Josie Glass. Nice centering kick by Samantha Friedman, but couldn't quite deflect it in as the ball is booted. It skips towards midfield and is ultimately collected by Claire Rayner. Rayner tries to kick it down the near side, but it's deflected out of bounds by Mila Seifert. So it'll be Newton North ball, deep in the Brookline end, close to what would be the 30-yard line if this were an American football game. Kira Doherty with the inbounds kick. Looking for Olivia Doherty and nothing doing there. And another inbounds kick towards the center, taken immediately by Melanie Chernin. Now Chernin passes it along, looking for Friedman, but it skips off her foot and is collected by Newton North. The attempted pass, though, deflects off another player's foot and is collected by Friedman. Friedman sends a retreating pass back to Lindsay Mahoney, so Brookline can reset. Pass goes along to the near side to Mila Seifert. Seifert passes it up to Zoe Fagnan. Fagnan, a centering pass over to Hope Leshley. Leshley passes it back to Mahoney. Mahoney dribbling, boots it into the air, skips towards midfield, skips past a couple players. Now being chased after by Kira Doherty and Zoe Fagnan. Retreating pass by Doherty back to Josie Glass, and Glass boots it out of bounds. Now we've got an inbounds kick for Brookline. It's tapped in, it's dribbled. That's Zoe Fagnan. Centering kick is collected for a second by Newton North, but then taken away by Samantha Friedman. Friedman dribbling, retreating as she runs into traffic. Pass over to Chernin. Chernin almost lost control of it, has to send another retreating pass. Now we got another player battling through, but they lose control of it. I think that was Hope Leshley, but it's cleared away by Newton North. It bounces all the way back to Juliana Anastopoulos, who came out to about the 20-yard line. Passed over to Mahoney, then passed over to Seifert along the near side. Seifert passes, looking for Frankel. Frankel passes it back to Mahoney. Mahoney now dribbling with it. Kicks it to midfield, looking for Frankel, but it gets taken away by Plainett. Emma Plainett passes it over to a teammate. That's Powderly. Catalina Powderly was dribbling with it for a while. Tried to send a through pass, but it gets deflected away. And they're going to call the foul on Newton North. I believe that's against Claire Rayner, who got a little too physical trying to battle for a position on Powderly's pass. So it'll be a free kick for Brookline. Free kick will be taken by the goalie, Juliana Anastopoulos. And it's booted into the air towards midfield. Goes off the foot of Plainett. It's deflected by another collision, being chased down by Doherty. Kira Doherty dribbles around the corner, and her pass skips away from Olivia Doherty, and it's collected out of bounds by Brookline. They'll take over just past midfield on the Newton North end. Mila Seifert and Zoe Fagnan getting ready for the inbounds kick. It's tapped into Fagnan. Fagnan dribbles along the near side, gets around Olivia Doherty. Doherty chases. Zoe Fagnan still trying to gain the edge along the near side. She gets the bit of an edge. A centering kick, deflected away by a defender, being chased by a couple players and deflected out of the box by Newton North. Recollected by Hope Leshley, but she has the ball stolen away by Lily Ranelli, and it goes to Claire Rayner. Rayner passes it over to Powderly, but Powderly loses control of her dribble. It's taken away by Melanie Chernin and deflected back to Brookline. Brookline takes control of it. A couple passes. It winds up at Samantha Friedman. Friedman with a long pass over to Zoe Fagnan, and I think they're going to call offsides. So Brookline loses it to the offsides call. And so it'll be a free kick for Newton North. Now we've got the kick in. It's booted into the air. Collected by Lily Ranelli. Ranelli dribbling against Leshley. She sends a centering pass over to Emma Plainett, but she lost control of it, taken away by Samantha Friedman. Friedman regains control, almost taken away by Powderly. She manages to pass it over to Melanie Chernin. Chernin sends a pass looking for Frankel, or no, looking along the far side for Pujols Braceno. She can't chase down, though. And we got an out-of-bounds whistle, and we got a substitution. This is Malia Sung coming in to replace Emma Plainett. So now we got an inbounds kick for Newton North, but it's immediately taken away by Friedman. Friedman passing over to Chernin. Chernin looking for a pass for Fagnan. It gets away from her, and that's going to roll out of bounds. So nice idea, but the pass was off the mark, and with 11:40 left in the third quarter, this is going to be a goal kick for Josie Glass. She kicks it along the far side. Newton North trying to make the clear. Cut off again by Samantha Friedman, but it's deflected out of bounds. Samantha Friedman has been locking down that far sideline. As now another inbounds kick for Newton North. It gets through a few players and is now collected by Newton North. The attempted pass down the far side is kicked away by Mia Pujols-Braceno. It goes back to Juliana Anastopoulos, who boots it into the air towards Zoe Fagnan. Fagnan passes it over to Seifert along the near side. Pass over to Sari Frankel. It deflects away from her, almost taken away by Ranelli, but instead it goes to Hope Leshley. Leshley's kick across midfield is deflected into the air. It bounces and is now being chased by a couple of players. And we got a deflection off a kick by Claire Rayner, another deflection into the air, and it's being chased down by Newton North's Olivia Doherty, but she loses control of it. It's taken away by Sari Frankel. Frankel dribbles and passes over to Samantha Friedman. Friedman dribbles a bit, passes across midfield looking for Frankel again. It gets kicked away by Newton North. And now Newton North going across midfield, passing back and forth. They dribble down the far side, gaining the edge. And ultimately it's kicked out of bounds by, I believe, Pujols-Braceno. So this should be a corner kick for Newton North. .940 and counting left in the third quarter of play here of what is still a scoreless game between the visiting Brookline High Warriors and the hosting Newton North Tigers. Newton North now getting ready for a corner kick, starting from the corner on the far side. Tap in, centering kick, and it's booted out by Lindsay Mahoney. And I believe it's collected by Samantha Friedman. She passes it ahead to Sari Frankel. Sari Frankel's got some space. She races across midfield. She's got a couple defenders to beat. She's dribbling against Tully Membrino. She goes around the far side, boots it towards the net, and it's collected off the bounce by Josie Glass. They had a couple of Brookline players crashing for the potential rebound, but Glass collected it cleanly and now boots it in the air, collected by Catalina Powderly. Tries to pass ahead, it's deflected away. Another deflection, and it goes to Brookline. I believe that's Hope Leshley, who passes it over to Melanie Chernin. Passes ahead to Sari Frankel. Frankel almost lost control of it, regained control, passed over to Friedman, back to Frankel. Frankel dribbling towards the center, passes it over to Hope Leshley. Leshley gets around a player, almost around another, deflected back to Sari Frankel. Frankel now dribbling, passes it back to Mila Seifert. She passes it down to Zoe Fagnan along the near side. Fagnan tries to dribble and retreat and around a defender, but it gets poked away from her. Temporarily taken away by Newton North, but then taken back by Hope Leshley. Pass to Fagnan, then centering pass to Chernin. Chernin has it taken away, but a retreating pass is stolen by Samantha Friedman. Friedman's got a chance. Shot, saved by Glass, and recovers the rebound. A laser by Samantha Friedman, but well defended by Josie Glass, who boots it into the air. It's deflected into the air by Leshley, then deflected by Ranelli. Then deflected by Rayner and collected by Rayner. Claire Rayner now dribbling. She gets it stolen by Melanie Chernin. Chernin sends a pass ahead to Frankel. Frankel sends a pass out to Friedman along the far side. Friedman is taking off. She's got some speed, trying to gain the edge. Centering kick, and it's in! Goal for Brookline. I'm not sure if that was deflected in or if it was a clean shot by Samantha Friedman. Either way, that's going to be the first goal on the board for Brookline. And the Warriors now lead the Tigers 1-0. Samantha Friedman has been getting some great attacks all night. She sent a great centering kick that might have been deflected off a defender, might have been deflected off a teammate, I'm not sure, and it might not have been deflected at all. It might have just had the angle. Either way, that ball went in the back of the net, and that's all that matters to the Warriors, as they now hold a 1-0 lead over the rival Tigers. Newton North takes over from the center. They pass it back to Lily Ranelli. Ranelli dribbling. She sends a pass back to Kira Doherty, who tries to get around a couple players, but then it's taken away by Zoe Fagnan. Fagnan now dribbling in attack. A centering pass over to Sari Frankel, but it gets away from her. And now they dribble in retreat. They pass it back to Josie Glass. Glass kicks it in. Some fancy footwork by Tully Membrino. She kicks it ahead to Catalina Powderly. Powderly almost lost control of it, but recollected it. Pass over to Lily Ranelli. Ranelli brings it across midfield for Newton North. Dribbling against Mila Seifert. Trying to gain the edge. She starts to gain the edge, but more defenders are coming for help. Ranelli almost all the way down to the back end. Running out of room. Almost manages to get around the defense, but manages to draw a corner kick. As it's deflected out of bounds. So it'll be a corner kick for Newton North. 6.5 minutes left. Score, Brookline 1, Newton North 0. And we've got some space for Newton North. The kick towards center. Score! The equalizer for the Tigers. Let's see who that was who deflected it in. Again, a great centering kick. And I believe that was number 8, Kayla Boggs, who deflected that one in. That was a great play out of the corner by Newton North. A tap over to a player who knifed her way through the defenders, had some space, and then hit a nice centering kick, beautifully set. And we've now got a tie ball game at 1 apiece. Brookline starting over in the center. That's Sari Frankel sending a pass, looking for Maddie Moore along the near side, but taken away and now recovered by Hope Leshley. Passed back to Frankel. Frankel passes it along the far side, looking for a teammate, but it gets deflected, goes to Hope Leshley. Passed back to Sari Frankel. Frankel dribbling in space, trying to find an opening. She sends a pass through, but it's deflected away. Collected by Catalina Powderly. Powderly sends the pass along the far side, intercepted by Brookline. They try and kick it across. I believe that was Annabelle Meyer, but it was deflected away and now recollected by Newton North. They pass it across midfield. It's collected by Claire Rayner, who is being chased by Caroline Wolf. Rayner now dribbling with some space to work. She gets around one defender, has a bit of an angle, shoots, deflected by Mahoney, and chased down and snagged for a second by Juliana Anastopoulos. A bit of a collision. No whistle. And now we've got a whistle as Anastopoulos is down on the ground. The Brookline goalie with 5:20 and counting left in the third period. She goes down after a tough collision after the deflection by Lindsay Mahoney. Anastopoulos slowly getting up. She's back up on her feet, and it looks like she's heading back to her position, so it looks like Anastopoulos will stay in. Or maybe not. She appears to be holding her head. We'll see what they decide to do here. The score, Brookline 1, Newton North 1. Clock now frozen at 5:04 left in the third quarter of play. And meanwhile, along the sideline, Talia Thompson, the other keeper on the Brookline roster, warming up just in case Anastopoulos has to come out. Of course, Thompson, her last game she played, a home game against Wellesley at Skyline Field, she held Wellesley to a shutout, as neither team scored and that game ended in a tie. All other games thus far have had Anastopoulos in the net, including this one. But Thompson, the younger of the two goalies, might get her chance in net tonight. 5:04 left in the third quarter here at Newton North High School. The score, Brookline 1, Newton North 1. Both teams having scored off some nice centering kicks off the edge. And it looks like Anastopoulos will be coming out as she starts to walk out of the box. And she's walking across the field. It looks like she's going to be coming out. She will be coming out, and so Talia Thompson will be going into net to replace her. As we hear some applause from the crowd for Anastopoulos. Of course, we hope she's okay. She's had some heads-up plays charging out of the net. so far today. She's done a pretty solid job despite the 1 goal allowed. And now Talia Thompson coming into the game in relief of her injured teammate. She was holding her head at some point, Anastopoulos was, so they might be checking, making sure she doesn't have a concussion or anything. So after the collision around the box, this is probably going to be a free kick for Brookline. And indeed it will be. Brookline takes over along the far side. A kick towards the center is taken away by Newton North. Deflected towards the box, but booted out by Lindsay Mahoney. Goes towards midfield. Bounces off one player. Then collected. I believe that's Sari Frankel, who sends a pass along the near side looking for Maddie Moore. Moore collects it. She's dribbling against Kira Doherty. Looking for some space. Sends a through pass looking for Frankel, but it's collected by Tully Membrino. And it's knocked out of bounds, and they're going to say that went off of Frankel. Brookline didn't like the call. They thought it was a corner kick as Membrino had the inside on the ball, but either way it's a goal kick. Glass kicks it ahead. It's passed ahead again along the far side. Is it going to stay in bounds? No. So Brookline will get the ball back around midfield with 4:10 and counting left in the third quarter of play. The inbounds kick. Dribbling through, they pass it along. That pass goes to Frankel, but she's being pursued by a defender. This ball goes out of bounds, and they're going to say Newton North ball. Newton North along the far side. The inbounds kick looking for Ranelli, but deflected away. And now a chase for the ball. That was Liv Ernst who deflected it into the air. And now we got a substitution for Brookline. But they can't do the substitution in time, and so play continues on the inbounds kick. And now we got another out of bounds, and now the substitutions come in. For Brookline, Alex Levy coming in, and for Newton North, that'll be Helen Rieb Booney. Coming out for Newton North will be the scorer of their goal, number 8, Kayla Boggs, and coming out for Brookline will be their number 8, Sari Frankel. So the inbounds kick, Brookline controlling the ball, they pass it along the defensive end. That's Caroline Wolf, who sends it down to the far side, then kicks back to Wolf, then kicked ahead towards the center, looking for Chernin, deflects off her foot. Alex Levy slides in and deflects it further away, but it's collected by Lily Ranelli. Ranelli almost had it poked away by Maddie Moore, but she recollects it. Now being pursued by Hope Leshley. Leshley manages to take it away. Now Leshley dribbling with it. She escapes for a tick. Passes it wide of Chernin, but collected by Alex Levy. Levy now dribbling against Catalina Powderly. A bit of a collision there, but no call. So they send the pass down the far side. I believe that's collected by Annabelle Meyer. Meyer looking for the pass. She passes it looking for Friedman, but it's deflected away and recollected by Newton North. Newton North now dribbling along the far side. They run into traffic, try and kick it away, and that goes out of bounds. And we'll see which direction they point. They're going to say, I think, Newton North ball. We're in stoppage time now in the third quarter. The score, Brookline 1, Newton North 1. Newton North with an inbounds kick just past midfield. They kick it back behind midfield and then boot it. And it deflects off a couple feet and flies out of bounds. That flew out of bounds off the foot of Liv Ernst. And that'll be Newton North ball. Now the kick goes in. Skips away from one player. Collected ultimately by Alex Levy. Then passed along the far side. Brookline trying to find some space. They run out of it. Gets taken away. Pass gets sent to Olivia Doherty. Doherty now dribbling with it. Sends a pass. It's deflected. And then taken away by Melanie Chernin. Chernin now dribbling in space. She boots it ahead, deflected off one defender, and then recollected by Brookline. Dribbling with speed, that's Hope Leshley. She gets around a defender, almost gets around another, but it's deflected away. Well defended by Kira Doherty. And Newton North clears it to midfield. but it gets deflected a little too far, and after a battle for the ball, it's taken by Liv Ernst, passed over to Maddie Moore along the near side. Centering pass looking for Alex Levy. Now she sends a pass ahead to nobody, and it's cleared out by Josie Glass. Josie Glass's kick is deflected by Liv Ernst, and it goes to Samantha Friedman. Friedman passes it back to Lindsay Mahoney. Mahoney passes it over to Sarah Gonzalez along the near side. Gonzalez's kick is deflected and flies back to the Brookline end, chased down by Mahoney. Mahoney sends a retreating kick back to Talia Thompson. Her first time touching the ball since coming in for the injured Juliana Anastopoulos. She boots it in for Melanie Chernin. Chernin collects it, passes it ahead to Alex Levy. Levy passes it off a deflection, and it gets kicked away. She was looking for Hope Leshley on that pass. And instead it's kicked down the far side. Newton North taking it. They've got a bit of an edge. Chasing it down, centering kick, skips away from everybody and kicked out by Sarah Gonzalez. Collected by Hope Leshley, almost taken away by Membrino, and we've got the whistle for the third quarter. So after 3 quarters of play, the score, Brookline 1, Newton North 1. I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan, live at Newton North High School in Newton, Massachusetts. I'll be back after a quick mute break. Stay tuned. Hello and welcome back to Newton North High School in Newton, Massachusetts. I'm Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan here to bring you the 4th and final quarter of play in this high school girls soccer matchup between the visiting Brookline High Warriors and the hosting Newton North Tigers. Our score right now is 1 apiece after both teams found the back of the net in the 3rd quarter of play. So it's going to be an exciting one here. Brookline, the goal came courtesy of a centering kick by Samantha Friedman that was deflected in possibly by somebody. It was hard to tell over on the far side. And then for Newton North, the goal came off another centering kick, but this one very clearly deflected in by number 8, Kayla Boggs. So 1-1 the score. 20 minutes left for either team to try and get the win and get the rivalry bragging rights here. Brookline will be starting at the ball, playing from my left, while Newton North plays from my right here in the final quarter. Hope Leshley in the center. She taps it over to Sari Frankel, and we're underway. Frankel dribbles and sends a pass along the near side looking for Samantha Friedman, but it's being chased down by Newton North's Josie Tucker. She gets around the edge and passes it ahead, but then it's taken away by Hope Leshley. Attempted centering pass is almost collected by Brookline, but then deflected out by Newton North, and then taken for a second by Lily Ranelli, but then taken away again. I think that was Zoe Fagnan. An insert kick is deflected out, and after a couple deflections, it goes into open space near midfield, collected by Lindsay Mahoney. She dribbles across midfield, looking for a pass. She passes it over to Melanie Chernin. Chernin now dribbling with some space, sends a pass that's got a little too much mustard on it, flies away from her teammate, and goes out of bounds. That pass was intended for Samantha Friedman. So Newton North will have the inbounds kick deep in its own end as they try and clear this and get on the attack. The kick goes into Alexandra Contaridis and then back, but then kicked into space where nobody was, and Mia Pujols-Braceno boots it towards the net, and it bounces harmlessly into the arms of the Newton North goalkeeper, Josie Glass. Glass punts it into space, and it's won by Melanie Chernin. Chernin taps it. She recollects it, passes over to Sari Frankel. Frankel with a pass over to Hope Leshley, but Leshley loses control of it, and it's taken away by Newton North, collected by Anna Engel. She sends a pass ahead to Claire Rayner. Rayner boots it over a defender, but it goes to Mia Pujols-Braceno, who passes it back to Mahoney, who boots it across midfield. It's deflected in space by a couple players, but then collected by Samantha Friedman. Friedman attempted pass, deflected away, but collected by Melanie Chernin. Chernin dribbles around a defender, passes it over to the far side, looking for Maddie Moore. Maddie Moore now dribbling, looking to get the edge. Attempted centering kick, runs into too much traffic, it gets deflected, but now a battle for the ball. Maddie Moore gets it, sends a retreating pass, but it's taken away by Newton. And we got a whistle in the battle for the ball. They're going to call the whistle on Brookline, And so Newton North will get the free kick deep in their own end. Brookline putting up the pressure early in this quarter. As Newton North gets the free kick, it's deflected and flies out of bounds. I believe that was Maddie Moore who charged in and got the deflection. It was substitution for Newton North. As out comes number 10, Lily Ranelli. Ranelli's been in a lot of plays for Newton North so far today. As Newton North does the inbounds kick, they boot it into the air. Bit of a battle for the ball now along the far side. Brookline takes it away for a second, but then loses it out of bounds. Newton North will have the inbounds kick. Once again, they boot it back, try to boot it into the air. Well deflected by Brookline. Or maybe it wasn't deflected. Maybe it just flew off the side of the foot because this is going to be Brookline ball. It's Brookline on the attack along the far side now as they get the inbounds kick. 16 minutes left in the game. Tap the inbounds kick, then they try a centering pass aimed for Frankel. Deflected away for a second, but then Brookline recontrolled it, tried an insert pass. Couldn't get it, but now it's taken away. Taken away by Brookline. They're dribbling along the far side, trying to maintain control of it. An attempted clearing kick by Newton North is deflected out of bounds by a Brookline player. Or at least I thought it was. It looks like they're going to call it out off of Newton North. So Brookline, well, the inbounds kick deep in the Newton North end. Looking for an outlet. They try the inbounds pass, and we've got a whistle. Maybe it wasn't done properly. Maybe it got knocked out of bounds again. So they tap it to Frankel. Frankel gets around a defender, but loses control of the ball, and that's going to be out of bounds off of Brookline. I think that's going to be a goal kick for Glass. Josie Glass sends the pass along the near side. Attempted clearing kick over to Contreras. Contreras kicks it into the air, deflected by Malia Sung. It rolls to the foot of Claire Rayner, who's now dribbling in retreat. Passes it over to Tali Membrino. Membrino passes it ahead. After a couple passes, it skips away and is attempted to clear by Lindsay Mahoney. She tries to clear it. It's deflected and they collide. In space, Brookline picks it up, a couple of passes, and it winds up over at Mia Pujols-Braceno along the near side. Attempted through pass, it gets deflected away. I think that was Josie Tucker. And now Newton North takes it over after a couple of passes. They send it along the far side. And a battle for the ball between a couple of players. I believe that was number 2, Helen Rhea Booney for Newton North, and number 16, Mila Seifert, battling for the ball for Brookline. And Seifert managed to draw the foul. So Brookline now with the free kick. Lindsay Mahoney passes it. Then it's passed back to Mahoney, who tries to kick it into space, but it's taken for a second by Newton North, now taken away by Zoe Fagnan. And I think they got another whistle. I think we got another foul call against Newton North. Lindsay Mahoney once again lining up for the free kick. This might be a direct kick this time, as a lot of players are lined up pretty far, and it is, and she boots it into the air, across midfield, deflected off the foot of a Newton North player. Newton North still trying to clear it. Skips past the intended target, Clara Rayner, and is kicked back by Caroline Wolf. It goes to Chernin, passed back to Pujols-Braceno, passed ahead to Friedman, passed back to Chernin. Chernin now dribbling around Rayner and passes it back to Wolf. Wolf passes it over to Mahoney. Mahoney dribbles a bit, sends a through pass, looking for Leshley, but it deflects away from her and is taken away by Newton North, but then taken back by Mahoney. Kicked, another deflection, and it's taken this time by Samantha Friedman, and Friedman kicks it out of bounds off the foot of Newton North's number 16, Morgan Gallivan. So it'll be Brookline ball. just inside the Newton North end. Pujols-Briseno looking to inbound it to Friedman. She does. Friedman with a centering pass over to Melanie Chernin. Chernin with an attempted pass and slipped and fell. That was Zoe Fagnan who lost for a second. Newton North dribbled with it, but then stolen away by Chernin. Chernin now dribbling with some space, trying to gain the edge. Attempted through pass looking for Friedman. And I think we had a whistle back there against somebody, as the play has been blown dead. Might have been a foul, as Chernin was trying to fight her way through some defenders to get that through pass to Samantha Friedman. We'll see who the foul is called against. Looks like it's called against Newton North, and it looks like Brookline will get a free kick. Brookline looks to be at about the 35-yard line of the football field. And Mila Seifert will be tapping it for, I believe, Zoe Fagnan. Tapped back to Fagnan. Fagnan boots it into the air towards the box, and it's collected. Attempted pass for Friedman from Hope Leshley, and it's lost, and it's collected by Newton North. Dribbled across midfield. Attempted pass deflected out by Caroline Wolf. A couple more deflections. Newton North temporarily takes it back, but it's deflected all the way back to Mia Pujols-Briseno. Attempted pass ahead goes to Friedman. Friedman working against Gallivan. Tries to send a pass. Intercepted. I believe that's Malia Sung, who's now dribbling with it, being chased by Sari Frankel. Frankel almost takes it away, but Sung recollects it, sends a retreating pass. Then another pass over to Josie Tucker. Booted into the air, looking for Rhea Booney. Booney passes it over, looking for Sung, but it's taken away by Brookline. Now passed ahead. Sari Frankel dribbling with some space. She sends a pass over to the far side, looking for Maddie Moore. Moore collects it, dribbling, trying to keep control of the ball, not let it go out of bounds. And I believe she lost it down at the far end, so that's going to be a goal kick for Josie Glass. 10.5 minutes left in this game. The score, Brookline 1, Newton North 1. Glass kicks it in to the far side. Kicked away by Maddie Moore. She gets back up and boots it towards the center. Dangerous kick, but deflected out by the Newton North defense. Now being chased after. And it goes out of bounds, and that's going to be off of Brookline. Some good defense by Newton North after a heads-up play by Maddie Moore to give Brookline the attack immediately after the goal kick. Newton North now getting ready for the free kick. It's kicked in. Newton North trying to work their way through the clear, but a couple deflections have made it kind of tough. Brookline still trying to take it away. And ultimately, the battle for the ball is won by the Tigers. Newton North taking it across midfield. A pass over to Contreras, and Contreras' shot goes wide. A nice dribble and pass by Helen Rhea Booney, but nothing doing there. And now we've got a sub for Brookline. This is Gianna Pentland coming in to replace Mia Pujols-Briseno. So goal kick for Brookline after the well-wide shot by Alexandra Contreras. And Talia Thompson kicks it to Lindsay Mahoney, who kicks it ahead. Brookline trying to work it out of their own zone. Taken away by Newton North for a tick, and now we got a bunch of deflections as they battle for the ball. Taken for a second by Rhea Booney. She passes it back, and then it's passed back inside. Newton North with a big shot, and it skips easily into the hands of Thompson. Thompson now rolls it out, looking for Pentland. Pentland dribbles through one attacker and gets the pass over to Samantha Friedman. Friedman dribbles for a second, sends a long pass down the near side. Hope Leshley chasing after it, but also chasing after it is Josie Glass, and she scoops it up. 8:10 left, and Glass boots it into the air, deflected, almost taken away by Melanie Chernin, but then taken away by Gallivan. Gallivan kicks it over to Contreras, but Contreras loses it, and it's taken back by Chernin. Chernin dribbles around, attempted centering pass for Friedman, skips away from her, cleared out by Membrino, bounces on ahead, and Mahoney tracks it down and boots it back into the air towards midfield, downed by Chernin. Chernin now dribbling with it. Her pass goes off a foot, but then goes to Friedman, who kicks it ahead. Nobody there, though, and it's kicked out of bounds by Tolly Membrino. So Brookline on the attack now, deep in the Newton North end, with 7.5 left to play. Gianna Pentland and Samantha Friedman getting ready for the inbounds kick. Pentland taps it to Friedman, who kicks it through. Downed by Engel for a second, but then taken by Hope Leshley, or is that Zoe Fagnan? Either way, it's passed over to Friedman. Friedman kicks it towards the center, scoops it away from one defender, but one defender kicks it out. Now we got a battle near the box. Shot! Saved by Josie Glass. Great attack put together by Brookline there. I believe that was Hope Leshley with the final shot, as it's booted down the field by Glass, kicked back by Pentland, but then deflected and then booted back by Mahoney. Now being chased down towards the box, and we've got a whistle. That's going to be a foul called against Hope Leshley. It's now a free kick for Newton North. They have to readjust the players so the Brookline players are far enough away. And the direct kick flies towards midfield, bounces, and is collected by Gianna Pentland. Booted back into the air, being chased after by a few players, and scooped up by Josie Glass. Maddie Moore was in pursuit of that one, but Glass collects it, boots it towards midfield, skips past a couple players, collected by Claire Rayner. Rayner gets around her defender, now dribbling in space, and she gets through Caroline Wolf, now being chased down. I believe that's Liv Ernst. It's kicked away and out of bounds. Heads up defense there. I believe that was Lindsay Mahoney who kicked it out. As I think that was Caroline Wolf and Gianna Pentland who were trying to defend against Claire Rayner, who has come up with a few dangerous chances today. Inbounds kick now for Newton North. Gallivan looking for a target. Passes it into space, but it's immediately taken by Chernin. Pass to Hope Leshley. Leshley recollects it. Pass over to Friedman, a bit behind her. She had to retreat to collect it. Passes it back to Pentland. Pentland boots it into the air. Deflected down by Membrino, and it rolls all the way to Rhea Booney. Another couple passes, and it winds up at the foot. I believe that's Kayla Boggs. Boggs fights through a defender, but then cut off and kicked out of bounds. I think that was Caroline Wolf who kicked it out. Newton North will have the inbounds kick here. It's Gallivan again. Kicks it over to Malia Sung. Sung back to Gallivan. Gallivan boots it towards the center. Gets deflected by Wolf. Chernin tries to kick it out, but it gets deflected. Now Mahoney tries to kick it out, deflected again. But it goes to the foot of Samantha Friedman, who boots it across midfield. It gets deflected into the air, being chased down by a couple players, but collected by Gallivan. Gallivan passes it ahead to Kayla Boggs. Boggs tries to dribble through her defender, can't do it. Gets double-teamed, and then it's taken away by Friedman. Pass over to Melanie Chernin. Chernin passes it across midfield, but kicked away by Newton North. Then kicked back by Brookline, and it's collected by Hope Leshley, passed over to Friedman. Friedman kicks it ahead, and it goes to Josie Glass. Glass dribbling with it. Kicks it right to the feet of Melanie Chernin, who then has it taken away by Newton North. Josie Tucker now dribbling with it. She's got space. She's across midfield. Pass it along the far side, looking for Kayla Boggs again. Boggs has it. She's got some room to work, and no, they're going to call offsides. So now, Gianna Pentland with the free kick for Brookline. She kicks it over to Melanie Chernin. Chernin almost lost it for a second, but recovered. Attempted centering pass is intercepted by Newton North. Passed ahead, but then booted away by Lindsay Mahoney. But it's collected by Malia Sung. Sung now dribbling with it, but loses control, and it's booted away by Brookline. Collected by Frankel. Frankel dribbles across midfield. She's got some space to work. Attempted pass is wide of her target and is booted away by Engel, but collected by Friedman. Friedman again takes it across midfield, retreats for a bit, sends the pass out to the far side. And an attempted centering pass to Frankel is deflected away by Newton North. collected, and a retreating pass goes back to Engel. Engel tries a long kick. It skips past a couple players. It's collected by Claire Rayner. Rayner was on sides, but being chased by a couple defenders. Ran out of room. She recollects it, shoots. Saved by Thompson. She juggled it for a second, but then recollected it. Nice save by the backup goalie, Talia Thompson, who rolls it in looking for Samantha Friedman. Friedman passes it ahead for Hope Leshley, and Leshley loses the ball out of bounds. We've got a substitution coming in. This is Olivia Doherty coming in for Newton North, replacing Helen Riabuni, and Alex Levy coming in for Brookline, replacing Zoe Fagnan. Kick from Gallivan goes back to Engel. Engel boots it high into the air. It scoops past Caroline Wolf and is collected by Rayner. Rayner trying to gain the edge, but taken away by Wolf. Wolf's attempted clearing kick is deflected and it flies out of bounds. That'll be a goal kick for Talia Thompson. A nice recovery by Caroline Wolf. It seemed that Claire Rayner had her number on that play after it skipped past Wolf, but Wolf managed to chase the ball just fast enough to keep Rayner from having a clear shot. Goal kick for Thompson. She boots it over to Lindsay Mahoney, who boots it, aiming for Melanie Chernin. A battle for the ball now. Won by Chernin. Passed over to Sari Frankel. Frankel almost lost it. Recollects it. Boots it into the air across midfield, being chased after by a few players, but collected by Gallivan with Alex Levy in chase. After losing the ball, it's taken by Samantha Friedman. Friedman dribbling in space, tries a through pass, deflected away. It's recollected by Brookline. Booted into space, deflected, goes back to Friedman. Friedman now taps it over to Chernin. Chernin dribbling through, attempted kick, deflected by Membrino, and it bounces towards the out-of-bounds line, but saved in bounds by Newton North. I believe that's Kayla Boggs. Passes it over to Josie Tucker. Tucker, then centering pass over to Sung. Sung loses control of it. Taken away by Leshley. Attempted pass over to Frankel. She barely collects it, but then gets swarmed by defenders and it's taken away and kicked towards midfield. Taken by Mahoney. Mahoney now dribbling across midfield. Pass over to Chernin. Chernin now passing it over to Friedman. Friedman chasing it down the near sideline. Also being chased by a defender. Friedman trying to get it around her defender. She can't do it. Well defended by Newton North. Now dribbling with plenty of space to work. That was Gallivan. Attempted pass ahead to Rayner. Stolen away by Gianna Pentland, and that's going to be the final whistle. So the final score here in Newton, Massachusetts. The visiting Brookline High Warriors 1. The hosting Newton North Tigers 1. Hard-fought game from both teams. They both found the back of the net in the third quarter. For Brookline, I believe it was Samantha Friedman who scored the goal, as it either deflected off a defender or just had the angle to go into the net. And for Newton North, the equalizer came from Kayla Boggs later that same quarter. Neither team was able to score anymore, and so that'll be a tie. Brookline's record changes to 2-1-2, and they'll be back in action Sunday morning on their turf at Skyline Field in Brookline, Massachusetts, as they host the Tigers for a rematch in this home-and-home series. So from under the lights here at Newton North High School in Newton, Massachusetts, I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. Thank you for listening, and have a good night.